tomorrow.
Tomorrow will be about 60, a shower. Then it looks good for the rest of the week, starting next week.
Channel 2 Weather on the Hour is brought to you by your local Carrier dealers, exclusive suppliers of Puron, environmentally sound air conditioners and heat pumps.
Together they rise. The major airlines jack up their prices again. We'll take a closer look. And the government plan to clean up nuclear waste. They were warned it wouldn't work, and it hasn't.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. It's been 70 days now since the NATO alliance began to bomb Yugoslavia, and today, with all sorts of qualifiers, there may be the faint outline of a political solution to this war in the making. All sorts of qualifiers. For several weeks now, we've been advised to watch for a visit to Belgrade by the President of Finland, one of the few people left to have the trust of both Yugoslavia and the NATO alliance. And he is going there tomorrow. ABC's John McWethy reports tonight on why this trip may be different.
The Finnish president, Martti Ahtisaari, will go to Belgrade with Russian Special Envoy Viktor Chernomyrdin. Today, they said NATO and Russia may not agree on every detail of how to stop the war, but there is now agreement enough.
We have come now to the point when the clarity has to be sought from the Yugoslav end.
In particular, clarity on two critical questions: who will be peacekeepers in Kosovo and how many Serb troops will be left there. NATO is demanding that its soldiers play a central role in peacekeeping. Milosevic is saying no troops from NATO countries that have bombed Yugoslavia are acceptable. NATO is demanding all Serb troops must leave Kosovo. Milosevic says several thousand of his soldiers and police must stay.
Obviously, these two gentlemen, Mr. Chernomyrdin and President Ahtisaari, have exceedingly hard work ahead of them tomorrow.
But there are important hints that something is going on. Serb leader Milosevic is signaling in many ways he is finally ready to talk. His government sent a letter to the Germans saying Yugoslavia was willing in principle to accept peacekeepers in Kosovo. Second, Milosevic will not have to negotiate with anyone from NATO, allowing a face-saving way for him to give ground. And third, U.S. officials argue that the intensifying air war is clearly taking a toll on the quality of life of all Yugoslav civilians. Word that Milosevic was ready to talk peace swept through Belgrade and was suddenly on the lips of his most ardent supporters and even some opponents. The Serb vice president suddenly dropped his vehement objections to international peacekeepers in Kosovo. And an opposition figure held a press conference today saying he thought troops from NATO countries could be part of any peacekeeping force. But U.S. officials insist until they hear that kind of talk from Milosevic himself, there will be no let-up in the air campaign. John McWethy, ABC News, the Pentagon.
There has been another attack by NATO aircraft on the Albanian side of the border with Kosovo. It was an accident, NATO says. It's hard to tell how much damage was done. There were several bombs or missiles on several defensive positions put up by the Albanian army. One refugee was reportedly injured. Several journalists working in the area were sent scrambling, and Albanian villagers fled the area in panic. These attacks along the border are deeply upsetting to those who are helping the ethnic Albanian refugees. There's nothing they fear more than this war spreading across the frontier. In the other news tonight, our other lead story is from Littleton, Colorado, back inside. Students were allowed back in Columbine High School today for the first time since 15 people died there 6 weeks ago. ABC's Tom Foreman reports on what an experience it was.
With police and teachers standing watch, hundreds of students returned to pick up backpacks, books, all the things abandoned in the panic of the attack. Some were teary-eyed, some nervous, all curious about what they would see.
Just knowing that people died in there and just I don't know, it's weird.
Teachers escorted small groups past boarded-up windows to where they were when the shootings began. Many saw bullet holes, scars from the bombs, water damage from fire sprinklers, and ceilings torn out by investigators looking for more bombs.
People lost their friends. I didn't lose anyone too close to me, but it's still really hard to talk about.
No one was allowed into the library where most of the killing occurred, but just being inside the building was hard enough.
Once I got in there and started walking around, and it got a little more okay with me, but it was kind of weird because all those feelings of anger started to come back.
For a while, the anger around Columbine was so strong, there was talk of tearing the whole school down. But today, many said it is better this way, better that they reclaim what was so violently taken away. Tom Foreman, ABC News, Littleton.
At the White House today, President Clinton is trying to have some impact on the amount of violence in the entertainment industry. He's asked federal investigators to study the extent to which the industry markets violence to children. The study will cost $1 million and take about 18 months. When we come back, why are so many more people this year suffering from allergies? And searching for a storage solution to the nuclear waste that is out there.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Nicorette Gum.
For those smokers who are ready to quit, Nicorette introduces a breath of fresh air. New mint-flavored Nicorette Gum. The same craving-fighting power of Nicorette and the flavor of mint. Nicorette helps you control your cravings so you can break free from smoking. And now you can choose your flavor. Now isn't that a breath of fresh air?
Nicorette helps you fight your cravings, your habit, your way. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Here's a new idea. A pain reliever from Aleve that goes to work fast and lasts all day. Introducing new Aleve gel caps. Like most gel caps, they go to work fast, but Aleve gel caps do more than work fast. They have the strength to work all day long with just 2 pills. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that. Look, if your pain reliever starts fast but won't last, get one that does it all. New Aleve gel caps, 2 pills, all-day relief. Works for me.
In hospital pharmacies, they dispense medicines that work fast. For heartburn, that's 1-minute Maalox.
It goes to work on stomach acid in 1 minute. Pepcid AC could take over 45 minutes.
Hospital pharmacies rely on Maalox. Shouldn't you?
Count on 1-minute Maalox.
Several items today about people's health and welfare. A new study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association suggests that an over-the-counter dietary supplement taken by slugger Mark McGuire and many others does nothing to boost men's strength or build muscles. Instead, it says that androstenedione, more commonly known as andro, may actually promote breast enlargement, heart disease, and cancer in young men. There was another very clear reminder that spring and emerging summer are not a pleasure for everyone. A poll commissioned by the Employees Health Coalition in Florida has found that 28% of their employees are affected by allergies at a considerable cost to business. There are no certain answers, but ABC's James Walker tonight on what the experts believe so many more people are suffering from.
Since the early 1980s, the amount of asthma and allergy cases has more than doubled, and in some places this spring, it has grown even worse. Scientists do not know exactly why, but they cite 4 possible reasons. The poor quality of indoor air. Most new homes and office buildings are built with thick insulation and airtight windows, which can trap allergens inside, the dust and the mold and the mildew where people work and live. They also say the quality of outdoor air is poor, filled as it is in some places with irritants from diesel exhaust, auto emissions, and industrial gases. They cite the increasingly sedentary lifestyle of young people, which leaves their lungs weak.
It could be that less exercise somehow puts more stress on the lungs in terms of their function when they get exposed to things like pollens and viruses and toxins.
And something else, long-term eating habits.
It may be that different bacteria or other kinds of flora that live in the GI tract influenced by diet may have subtle effects on the immune system.
There are certain things people can do to minimize the effects of contaminants, but ultimately, many scientists say it's genetic makeup that will determine who gets allergies. James Walker, ABC News, New York.
On the quality of air, to say the least, on the border between Florida and Georgia, an enormous fire is spreading through the delicate ecosystem which is the Okefenokee Swamp. 53,000 acres have been burned so far. The swamp is a national wildlife refuge. The fire poses a danger to alligators, deer, and several hundred species of birds. On the money tonight, government is getting bigger. The Rockefeller Institute of Government says that 324,000 government jobs were added last year, most at the state and local level where people have been requiring more services as many parts of the federal government cut back. Borders Book says it has a new weapon to fight online booksellers, a machine that prints books in the store on demand. Borders hopes people will be drawn by immediate access to titles that they currently find on the internet but can't find in bookstores. Poor customer service is hurting sales on the internet. According to a new survey, 67% of online purchases are never completed because people can't get information about the products they're buying or how they will be delivered. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 36.5 points to close at 10,596. On the NASDAQ, stocks were down just about 58 points. In a moment, just what you want to hear as you prepare to make plans for your summer vacation, airfares are going up.
Have you seen this? It's a Pepsid AC chewable, a great-tasting minty chewable in its own individual wrapper. Keep one in your pocket so you can stop heartburn before it starts. Anytime, anywhere.
Okay, the Hollywood Bowl. Okay, I go left on La Brea, right? No, left, right? Exit at Cahuenga, south on the 5, west on the 10, and when you see a massive sign, get off.
Before you go here, go here. Whether locating an address or planning your route, at go.com, you find your own way.
Sir, I need your vehicle. I need to get to 84th and Adams. Seville SDS, most powerful front-wheel drive car in the world, right?
Yeah, beat the 540i in the slalom.
I knew that. Big fan of the North Star system. StabiliTrak almost reads your mind when it comes to control.
That was close.
Trust me, I'm with the government.
Seville STS, it's what's next.
Shouldn't you be getting out?
Oh, they'll be all right.
You are a superhero to someone, so act like one and take your Mega Men multivitamins exclusively from GNC with 39 premium ingredients for men, like natural vitamin E and ginseng that other brands don't have. GNC. Live well.
Darling, yes, the house is 100,000 more than we talked about. The location just dreamy. I'll write up the contract so we're ready. Home sweet home, sugar.
Before you go here, go here. Whether you're researching neighborhoods or agents, at go.com, you move on your own terms.
Well, the airlines have done it again, just as people are firming up their plans for the summer vacation. 6 of the major airlines, American, Continental, Delta, Northwest, U.S. Airways, and United, have raised their domestic fares by 4%. It is the 3rd increase this year. Fares have gone up 11% overall. Let's take a closer look at what's going on. Anyone who flies, and that is millions of people now, know that the airlines are not putting the additional revenue into service. And they are raising prices again because they can. Here's ABC's Betsy Stark.
In what has become a familiar game of follow the leader, the nation's major carriers raise the price average consumers pay for a ticket just as Americans head into the big summer travel season.
Their theory is, yeah, we'll cram you in airplanes like sardines, and we'll jack up the fares 11%.
It's no coincidence that all the carriers acted at once. Airline analysts say that's how the industry works. No carrier can afford to be left behind when prices drop, and all of them want to join in when prices go up. Joining together like this is all perfectly legal, as long as the airlines are just reacting to each other's prices and not planning them together ahead of time. Right now, the industry says it needs to raise prices.
The airlines need to do these fare increases so that they can pay their workers better, buy new airplanes, and cover the rising cost of jet fuel.
Consumer advocates do not accept that explanation.
The problem is that when the oil prices were going down, airfares were going up too.
So whenever the price goes up or down, they keep putting the ticket prices up.
The fare increases come against the backdrop of a 26% rise in complaints about airline service and growing calls in Washington for an airline passenger's Bill of Rights. But as long as consumers have plenty of money to spend, higher fares are likely to fly. Betsy Stark, ABC News, New York.
There is always a way to bring prices down, at least in the short run. Introduce some meaningful competition. And some companies are figuring out that there is a way to pare down the enormous cost of business travel anyway. Here's ABC's Bob Jameson.
Dick Almond is traveling from Detroit to Chicago for General Motors.
Good morning, ladies.
Tom Decker is traveling to Washington for Daimler Chrysler. Their tickets are much cheaper than they used to be because they are flying a new airline, Pro Air. GM and Chrysler have guaranteed Pro Air 5 years of business to create competition and lower fares in Detroit. The aim is to break Northwest's stranglehold in Detroit. With 80% of all flights, Northwest has been able to set business fares at will, as much as $1,000 round trip to New York.
Airlines price based on what the market will bear. And if they totally control and dominate the market, you tend to pay a premium price.
And you've changed that.
We've changed it in the markets that we've got Pro Air flying into.
On 10 routes, business fares from Detroit have dropped by 65%, a savings for GM and Chrysler together of $10 million a year. For businesses here in Des Moines, Iowa, the issue isn't money alone, it's also time. And those businesses have also turned to a new airline to help solve their problems. It is Access Air, and local businesses practically created it. After complaining for years of high fares and a lack of direct service, they invested most of the $20 million in startup costs.
The only way we're really going to solve these problems is to band together and do it ourselves. And so this is very much a do-it-yourself airline.
Until February, if you wanted to fly from Des Moines to New York or Los Angeles, you had to go to Chicago and change planes. But Access Air flies directly to both cities, cutting travel time almost in half and ticket prices by 2/3.
We can leave here in the morning and get out to Los Angeles and conduct 5 to 6 hours worth of meetings and then get back that night.
Good morning, clear to LAX Airport.
Lengthy government approval procedures and tough competition from major carriers make it difficult to start a new airline. But other companies are watching to see if these two ideas will succeed in the long run. Bob Jameson, ABC News, Des Moines.
The enduring challenges of air travel. In a moment, storing nuclear waste and counting the problems.
Where will you be when your grandson gets his first taste of the ocean? When man walks on Mars? When your children want to discover their heritage? Life is filled with moments you don't want to miss. That's why if you have high cholesterol and heart disease, you should know about Zocor. Zocor is proven to help save lives by reducing the risk of a heart attack. So where will you be tomorrow? That could depend on what you do today. When diet and exercise aren't enough, talk to your doctor about adding Zocor. Zocor is a prescription medication and is not right for everyone, including women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, or people with liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems, because serious side effects can result. Tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Zocor, and about any medicines you are taking. For more information, talk to your doctor or call. Zocor, it's your future. Be there.
I'm a dreamer, a wanderer, restless.
It's easy to take All Day's freshness with you with individually wrapped All Day's panty liners. A unique core and fresh weave help absorb moisture and odor, and they're wrapped for freshness wherever you go.
A thrill seeker, a nomad, footloose.
For that fresh feeling anytime, anywhere, there's individually wrapped All Day's panty liners from Always. Feeling fresh is being free.
Chevy Tahoe, like a rock.
A triumph over everyday arthritis pain, made possible by Tylenol Arthritis Extended Relief. Even the newest arthritis prescription hasn't been proven to work better. Tylenol Arthritis.
The government's auditors have issued a report today about the government's efforts to clean up highly radioactive nuclear waste at the Savannah River site in South Carolina. The waste is left over from years of weapons production. It has been stored at an enormous cost, and the system does not work. Here's ABC's John Martin.
Along the Savannah River, there are steel tanks holding 34 million gallons of highly radioactive nuclear weapons waste. Around 1980, the Department of Energy decided to build a plant to process the waste for storage. That's when the trouble began. To separate the materials, it chose a method called ITP, in-tank precipitation. Even though it was warned this would create benzene, a highly flammable toxic liquid.
I told them that I thought that DOE was playing with fire.
One of DOE's own engineers, Herman Brandt, now retired and living nearby, spent years telling his superiors to find another process. In 1988, Brandt wrote, "At worst, it could become inoperable. Benzene is a hazard to store." In 1990, he begged DOE to find an alternative as a fallback. It wasn't just Brandt. Auditors in and out of the agency warned of danger.
But they went ahead anyway. This is where the chemicals were injected. And sure enough, there was, as predicted, benzene. Too much at dangerous levels. So they stopped. And that was more than 3 years ago.
A plant that was originally to cost $32 million and a job that was to take 3 years has now cost $489 million and taken 16 years and failed.
We're left with a process that the government has paid a lot of money for that doesn't work.
DOE concedes it took too long to see the light.
It is, certainly with hindsight, throwing good money after bad. Frankly, I think it's inexcusable that it went on as long as it did.
From 1980 to 1999, they can't make it work. How much longer do you give them? Do we subsidize those people for the rest of their lives and their children?
The government has finally gotten Herman Brandt's message. It has just told Westinghouse, its prime contractor for 10 years, the company will not be allowed to work on the project this fall when they start all over again. John Martin, ABC News, Aiken, South Carolina.
Russia's space agency said today that their space station Mir is finally going to be abandoned 13 years after it went into orbit. They simply don't have the money to keep it going. The crew will leave in the summer, and several months later, Mir will burn up and disintegrate when it falls back through the Earth's atmosphere. When we come back, he helped to build the new South Africa. Now he's going to hand it over.
You are a superhero to someone, so act like one and take your Mega Men multivitamins exclusively from GNC with 39 premium ingredients for men, like natural vitamin E and ginseng that other brands don't have. GNC. Live well.
Announcing a new way to see, near and far, the way nature intended. The creator of AccuView, most prescribed contact lens, is introducing the revolutionary AccuView bifocal contact lens. The first with pupil-intelligent design, near and far. Get out of wearing glasses and get into life, both near and far. New AccuView bifocal. It's how you see things. Visit your eye care professional or call us for more information.
Here's a new idea. A pain reliever from Aleve that goes to work fast and lasts all day. Introducing new Aleve gel caps. Like most gel caps, they go to work fast, but Aleve gel caps do more than work fast. They have the strength to work all day long with just 2 pills. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that. Look, if your pain reliever starts fast but won't last, get one that does it all. New Aleve gel caps, 2 pills, all-day relief. Works for me.
Do you experience vaginal dryness and need moisture? Vagisil Intimate Moisturizer is like bringing back your own natural moisture with natural aloe and soothing chamomile. Gentle enough to use every day. Vagisil Intimate Moisturizer.
This season, Jimmy Smits left NYPD Blue forever.
I love you, Bobby.
For the next 5 weeks, the episodes that made history. Jimmy's Last Blues. NYPD Blue. ABC Tonight. Viewer discretion advised.
Coming up next on Channel 2 News, the courts ruled in her favor, but red tape has left a partially paralyzed woman waiting to be paid in full. And will a new discount shopping center be a boost or a bust for a southwest suburb? I'm Steve Dunn. News of the Northwest is next.
Just a brief review of our main story. Very, very faint signs that a political solution to the war in Yugoslavia may be taking shape. The President of Finland and the Russian Special Envoy Viktor Chernomyrdin are scheduled to meet with the Yugoslav President, Mr. Milosevic, in Belgrade tomorrow. Finally this evening, in South Africa, an 80-year-old man is preparing to retire to a house near the sea, he says. President Nelson Mandela is going to step down after a national election tomorrow, another chapter in his remarkable journey from political prisoner to president completed. ABC's Jim Wooten from South Africa tonight on the man and the future.
For millions of black South Africans, he was the one man who could change their country and their lives. They believed that when they elected him, and perhaps in the euphoria of victory, he believed it too.
Let us build the future together and toast a better life for all South Africans.
Yet now, as then, South Africa still has massive problems. Violent crime driving thousands out of the country, unemployment of nearly 40%, and the same old poverty and homelessness. Those who said it would never work now say, I told you so. Not all whites blame Mandela. Rolf Meyer indicts the old racist regime in which he once served.
Much of the distortion of the South African society was brought about by apartheid. That's a reality. And I don't think one can ever deny that.
But no one denies that Mandela and his party offered the people unrealistic visions of what would be accomplished.
They shot themselves in the foot by making huge promises, knowing very well that they would not be able to deliver.
Actually, they have delivered quite a lot. New utilities, water, electricity, telephones for millions, and hundreds of new schools, including this one.
This is the most beautiful school. We must thank Nelson Mandela.
Mandela has built 750,000 new homes for people like Miriam Paget and her son. I had no homes, she says. Now I do. And there are many more on the way.
Building a democracy is never easy. Building a democracy here on the ruins of apartheid is vastly more difficult, and without Nelson Mandela, next to impossible. That is a part of his legacy. The new South Africa is a work in progress, but the building has begun.
And now, most agree, his heirs in power can build on that foundation, even though they lack the almost mythic presence of Mandela that led so many to expect miracles from his government. What they got instead is respect from the rest of the world, a fledgling but working democracy, and a future. Jim Wooten, ABC News, Johannesburg.
That is our report on World News Tonight. On Nightline, a unique perspective on South Africa and on Nelson Mandela from his former wife, Winnie Mandela. I'm Peter Jennings. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow, we hope. Good night.
Tomorrow, horse racing, big money at stake. How could these owners almost give away a champion worth millions? Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than